Welcome back, Officer Public. Of course, Honorable Police Chief APGAINS. Conquest starts soon, and I'm going to talk about a multifaceted approach. Now, every conquest, you kind of have to make a deep philosophical, personal decision, as we're all aware, on are you going to try or are you going to completely forget that it exists for 10 days and then do a little bit at the very end. Now, most conquest characters are, generally speaking, the fundamental building blocks of the backbone teams, and therefore almost all conquests, minus, some arguable ones, like some endgame players, Vanceel's kind of quit, but, some people will tell you that, Boba Fett, Sign of Django is good. They're lying to you. By and large, conquest characters are going to be focal points of many of the backbone teams, and therefore, you're not a conquest character. You're not a conquest character. Neither are you. Okay. There you go. There's some examples. It's looking like Padme, or Queen Amidala, is going to be really good. So I think, generally speaking, I'm going to give out a try on this conquest recommendation for people over 4 million GP. RIP, poor people who are not yet there. It sucks, I know. You'll get used to it. But even aside from my belief that Queen Amidala and the rest of the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon team that's going to go with her is going to be really good, I also think that there's, weirdly, a lot of draw for the current Datacron set that's coming up. Now, don't be alarmed by this. This was all in an attempt to get one Datacron that I didn't realize that I was trying to get wrong because CG had messed something up, and don't matter there. This is all an attempt to get the same level 3 over and over again because it's kind of good. And when level 3s come across that are very helpful, I try to get a bunch of them so I can put zero effort into it. I can do a couple of autos on like tier 1 of Conquest and have a couple of useful Datacrons. But I've noticed that kind of the opposite here. Now, some of this stuff is okay for the level 3. The level 6, I think, is actually really good. Some of them are great, like obviously a lot of people talking about protection and gas, but resistance coming off of Lightspeed bundles, Separatists just generally being a team that most people have a Grievous of some kind, and Jedi and Sith being two of the most powerful and most common factions in the game, it's kind of weird in this way where most free-to-play mid-game players, just by the process of having played the game to the 4 to 5 million GP range, even if you're lower than that, you're going to have Sith, you're going to have Jedi, you're probably going to have Separatists, and obviously not free-to-play players, but if you're a Lightspeed bundle $10 purchaser, you're going to have some resistance. I know Datacrons are kind of lame, but the level 6 are really good, and actually, weirdly enough, there's a lot of really powerful level 9s. And with them kind of buffing Datacrons that you need 5 instead of 7 on the relic levels, and a lot of the characters being characters that you kind of have to have at R5 anyway for requirements, this is going to be it's going to obviously be a really powerful Datacron set. But more so than that, I think for people who are punching up in GAC, it's going to kind of be like a pendulum of sort. Not a pendulum. It's gonna be like a fucking chasm to cross. It's like if you ignore it and you come across people who haven't, you're gonna get bodied because it's gonna turn normal characters that are almost useless into, backbone / GL level characters. It's going to turn basically every single team you're gonna put on offense and defense to have some sort of advantage. Even the stats are pretty good. You can get 300% health steal on some characters. You can get some pretty high. You can get like a 20, 40 plus another 40, 60. You can get like 70% offense, which is no slouch, obviously. You can get some good health stats as well. Like the stats are good, the 9s are good, the 6s are good, and the 3s are okay. Like they're not terrible. But all in all, it's such a powerful set for the traditional player who doesn't have all of this sort of extravagant random stuff that you can get so much value, so much viability out of it for, whatever you happen to have on your account. But also, it's OP enough to where other people who, like myself and like you, who don't usually use Datacrons, are going to see the value and they're going to play into it. And if you were already at a GP, I'm 8.5 basically. A lot of my opponents are 10, 11, 12. Already a disadvantage there, but if I couple the 2 to 3 to 4 million GP disadvantage that you guys are probably also facing at wherever you are, if you're 5 million, you're facing 7, 8 million, 9 million, stuff like that. If you couple that with them using the OP Datacrons on top of the disadvantage of being down a couple million GP, it's going to create a Datacron set that just isn't fun. You know what I mean? I don't think that there's going to be any way around it other than it's like a power creep Datacron where it's so applicable, it's so viable, it's so powerful that it's kind of hard to ignore, especially coming in conjunction, with a character that people are excited for and looks like it's going to be a powerful backbone team. I think it's kind of the perfect storm to where you don't want to miss out. And I get that can be kind of hard to hear for a lot of people because I don't like Datacrons and you don't like Datacrons, and I generally, aside from like if there's a level 3 every couple months or if there's one specific Datacron like there was last set, like all of this was in an attempt to get this. I didn't realize, however, that I had like messed up the scoundrel thing. It's like it wouldn't appear. It was like I was trying to get dark side scoundrel Dr. Aphra because she's a dark side scoundrel, but apparently you needed to go light side scoundrel or some weird bullshit that I just didn't know about until it was too late. And so aside from the one-off where I go crazy for one Datacron, there's like 3 possible versions that most people deal with. It's you go all out for one Datacron to make, one character super OP to like counter Jabba or something like that. There's an easy level 3, so you don't have to put any time, brain cells, or investment, and you can just have like a huge advantage across the entirety of your roster. Or it's so OP that you want to go as hard as fucking possible. You wanna be spending all of your like excess squad arena currency and shit like that. I actually think I've gone through like 10,000 squad arena currency, just churning it into shard shop currency so that I can take that shard shop currency and turn it into Datacron materials and stuff like that, so I can start hoarding up and preparing for this set because it is going to be so important. So just a little PSA about a little conquest alert for all of you guys. I try every conquest to do a little rating of how hard you should care. Occasionally when you get characters like Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, who will probably be useful for something at some point in the future, but not really right now, or Boba Fett Sign of Jango or stuff like that, where they're kind of shit, you can go, especially if it's coupled with a shitty Datacron set where you kind of just say, But now we get the best of both worlds. It's a cool character, it's a good character, it's a great team, it's an OP Datacron set you kind of don't want to miss out. I'm going to hit you with the FOMO. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. It's good to be back as always. I love you, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.